Claire here in the Pacific Northwest Puget Sound area, Grow Zone 8B, and today we are switching it up. I am officially in my cottage era. Come with me, I'll explain a little bit along the way. This week, an adventure to the thrift store led me to three completely unnecessary random things like a candle snuffer, a candlestick holder, and this little cottage canister. And it got me thinking about all the things that has inspired me my entire life, things that I dreamed about having as a little girl, like, window seats and a white picket fence and living in a over 100-year-old house with a cottage garden and a garden gate and ivy growing in it, and maybe even potentially, a hidden secret wing with crumbling plaster falling off the wall and a secret garden that's just mine that is decrepit and needs to be loved back to life. And it had me realize that these are things that I actually currently, as an adult, have in my life, whether I intentionally did it or not. I wanted to experience this life, and I decided that instead of looking at all the things that I need to fix, all the things that I wish that I could have, all the places that I want to go, I should just embrace the things that I currently have and make them the space that I've always dreamed of. I have all the raw ingredients. So why not start living today the way that I want to continue? Why not lean into the cozy, slower lifestyle that I've always read about and dreamed about, and slide a little further into a life of eccentricity that I have always desired? I realized I'm a 36-year-old woman. I'm a mother of two children. I'm a wife. I have nobody to impress but myself. So myself desires to wear red lipstick and experiment with hairstyles and wear her cute cottagey clothes and dress like a 1940s English countryside farmer, farm girl. And why the freak not? So that is what I shall be doing with my time and myself, if you care to join. And with that being said, that is my intro into what to expect from me forthwith. I will end that introduction here and sort of explain this recipe that is on the back of the screen that I am currently making. I made this a few days ago, actually, and it turned out so wonderfully. I just recently got gifted a sourdough starter, and I've been playing around with that and trying to grow the starter and feed it and do all that stuff. I haven't shared that with you guys yet. I will do more of that in the future. But while I was waiting for some sourdough supplies that I felt like I needed before I could actually try to do a real loaf with active starter, I decided to try this recipe a friend sent me of a sourdough pumpkin bread. But I changed a few ingredients to make it my own. I used some of the mini jars of pumpkin that I had canned. As you can see, I still have two more pumpkins that I have to process, but the pumpkin that I specifically used in this recipe was the Cinderella pumpkin, and it was so good. It's actually a very sweet pumpkin, and I turned it into a puree. But so basically, you're supposed to preheat your oven to 350. In one bowl, you're supposed to whisk together your dry ingredients, like your 2 cups of flour, 2.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then in a separate bowl, you'll put an entire stick of melted butter and 1.5 cups of brown sugar. You're You're going to cream all that together. Then you're going to add 1 large egg, your vanilla extract. I'm not going to tell you a measurement for that because what I use is called a doodle do, and that means however much I want to put in it. There is no limit to vanilla as far as I'm concerned. And then you put in and then I put in about a 1/4 cup of apple juice and a 1/2 cup of sourdough discard. And then you put in your pumpkin puree and you mix all of it up really good. Then you put all the ingredients in together, the flour, all that stuff, and then you get it all incorporated. Then you put it in your loaf pan and you cook it for for exactly an hour. That turned out just perfection. And so that is a wrap with the pumpkin bread. So the other thing that I did this week is my mother actually sent me some of these little cloth dolls that I had made when I was probably about middle school age, maybe about 12 or 13. And I really enjoyed making these, and I loved designing little outfits and clothing for them. But she sent them so that my daughter could play with them, and she is really loving them. They're very, very cute, but I wanted to kind of change the design a little bit about their body to make them have more bendable legs and arms, kind of like that Angelina ballerina doll that I had when I was a little girl. So I put together a new pattern for it. I traced on the pattern onto the fabric with a disappearing ink pen that you can get at a fabric store. I think these are the coolest things. You draw on it, it goes on purple, and then it vanishes after a few hours. I had to try to draw on the little pattern for the face because I'm going to embroider this. It's fun to start embroidering this. I'm not any kind of expert at all, but it's nice to see their little face come together and them come just a little bit more alive. I want to do sort of a Christmassy themed person. I have an idea in my mind of how I want her to look. I bought my daughter a dollhouse for Christmas, so that's going to be a fun surprise. And it did not come with any people or furniture. I did buy one little set of little mice people, but I thought it would be fun to make a little person specifically for the house and specifically for Christmas as a nice surprise, and I know she'll be thrilled with it. She loves these little dolls and plays with them all the time, so it'll be just another little friend that can go in her new little house. So I'm starting on the second eye, and at this point, I'm not going to lie, I started getting a little bit nervous because if you've ever tried to put on eyeliner on one eye, in real life with your makeup, and then you try to do it with the other eye, and it feels like it never looks the same or remotely close. Maybe that's not been your experience, but it's been mine. So trying to make these eyes look cohesive and like they belong to the same human or dolly was quite the challenge, but I think it did kind of turn out pretty cute and compatible. When it was all said and done, I had put some eyebrows, a cute little mouth, and working on finishing up the little nose here. And then when it came to the body, I was going to get out my actual sewing machine to do the body and the arms and legs, and then do some hand sewing parts. But I actually lost the pedal to the machine, so I'm going to have to get one off of Amazon. So I was in a hurry to get this done as my daughter was sleeping and I had limited time, so I just went ahead and went with sewing up the body and turning it in right side out now and kind of opening it up, and it's starting to look like a cute little person. So next nap time, I'm going to have to work on stuffing her and putting together some little clothing, so you'll have to come back in the next couple of weeks as I finish this up. Thanks so much for joining this week, and I loved sharing with you guys some of my most favorite things that have really inspired me throughout my life. And I'm really excited to turn my house a little bit more cottagey, one room, one piece at a time. So I hope you come back and join me, and as I share that with you. You guys have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see you next week.